I'm so sorry. I'm getting reported, dude. I'm getting reported. What's up, everyone? Today I'm bringing 2 illegal Pokemon into the Ultra League Premier Classic, cause Niantic kind of forgot to ban them for like the first 30 minutes or so. All the Ultra Beasts and a couple Legendaries were available to be used. That issue has been resolved now, so you can't run them anymore, but I did have some fun games with it, which we're gonna head into now. First off, a Kanto Muk lead. This is super bad for my squad, as it basically beats everything. Crobat is definitely my best answer though, so I'm glad we see it in the lead. I'm gonna take this first Thunder Punch. It will do a bunch, but it won't knock me out. And then I'm gonna try to go for the Shadow Ball, but I actually switch out before I get the opportunity to. And this is fine for me, because I can bring in my Buzzwole. My opponent must be extremely confused right now. This thing shouldn't be allowed, but we're using it. Buzzwole is very good versus Walrein. I can just lunge once and then farm all the way down. I could have superpowered there as well, and then I wouldn't have needed to take another Icicle Spear. But then I would also be debuffed, and I would have nothing to do against the Muk, basically. We're gonna take this move, and then we're gonna farm down. I will throw my superpower instantly versus the Muk, so they get as little farm as possible. Because I will drop my defense, meaning they might need like one less jab to knock me out, which would be ideal, because I don't want this thing with energy. Bringing my Crobat, just gonna go for the ball, really hoping they no-shield here. Thing is though, I'm expecting this to be Trevenant in the back, and that'd be very bad for me. That'd be very... If it's Trevenant, like, this is game over, basically. Since my Tapu Fini can't do anything. But we're just gonna stay in, see what it is, just Poison Fang this, and just hope that it's like an Obstagoon in the back, because that's a team too. That's a team I've seen, but ends up being Trevenant, so this game is definitely over. GG. Sadly, they were prepared for the Legendaries. Next game, we get an amazing lead with Crobat into Toxicroak, and they bring in Snorlax. Really good matchup for Buzzwole. I could just one-shot him with Superpower, but just like Walrein, I think the better play should just go for lunge and then farm him all the way down and have energy left for whatever is next. Go for the lunge here. Probably should just throw my lunge immediately. There's no reason for me to wait with throwing lunge, because getting that debuff early is nice. Now I took 2 licks that were not debuffed, that could have been debuffed, by just lunge a little earlier. It's not really gonna end up mattering maybe, but just a little optimization. I really thought I was gonna reach 2 superpowers here, so farm up a ton, but I don't. So this was actually a mistake. I should have thrown instantly, so they get as little farm as possible. But they end up shielding anyway, so it actually might have worked out. In comes a Walrein now. This is not ideal, actually. Since Tapu Fini Walrein is kind of an iffy matchup. But with 2 shields, I should be fine. I even called this bait since, well, I don't think they were going to Earthquake with 2 shields. So, yeah. At that point, the game is just over. So to concede the match, GG's. Shadow Dragonite is pretty even for my Crobat. These Air Slashes are doing less than Dragon Breaths right now. But after I get one of these debuffs in, should be looking pretty good. They actually let it go too. So at this point, I just shield up the Dragon Claw and I can farm it down with Crobat. Then I have a move loaded for whatever comes in next. They're actually not going to allow me to do that though. They bring in their Samurott right here. I should be able to just barely outpace this to a move though. They're the Hydro Cannon right now though. So I'm going to switch this out, hoping that my Crobat is still going to be useful for the back. And I have a very hard wall to this in Tapu Fini. Literally every single move Samurott has in his arsenal is resisted by Tapu Fini. I don't really have to worry about anything. Hydro Cannon is a very strong move though, and I kind of want to keep my Fini a bit healthy. So I will throw my Surf kind of soon to get rid of the Samurott. They were almost at a 3rd Hydro there, since it's so spammy. So I'll just throw it right here. Get rid of the Samurott. And now what's gonna come in? Let's see. They bring in the Swampert right there. Swampert is pretty fine for all 3 of my Pokemon, really. Buzzwole has a pretty okay matchup there too, since you can eat 2 Hydro. So I'm looking quite good at this point. But if this thing like farms up on a ton of energy, it could still be a little problem, since it can one-shot my Crobat. And whilst 2 Hydro Cannons don't knock out my Buzzwole, I also still have a Dragonite, which should have enough health to farm down my Buzzwole after it's taken 2 Hydros. So game is definitely not over. But this point is looking very, very good, as his Swampert is already very, very low. We'll take this Hydro for sure. I don't know why I took this actually. Probably should have shielded. That's fine. I'll shoot the next. As you can see, the next would bring me deep into the red, into a range where the Dragonite might be able to farm down. So it's kind of scary. I was expecting the Dragonite to come back in, so I switched in my Crobat instantly. This Swampert won't be able to farm me down, at all, so we farm them down instead, and that is a good game. Crobat into Trevenant. This is a this is a decent matchup for Crobat. I wouldn't say it's very good because Shadow Ball sells a ton, but it's pretty good, especially with shields. And they bring in a Snorlax right here, which we've seen before. This is very good for Buzzwole. And, well, I can farm off some energy here too, but I'm kind of worried about one thing. If the Trevenant gets too much farm against my Buzzwole, I am in trouble, because a Shadow Ball does a ton of damage versus Shadow Crobat. And I was considering letting the Snorlax throw another Body Slam into my Buzzwole, but that actually would have knocked me out. So that wouldn't have been very good. Actually, wait with throwing my Lunge here, because if I throw my Lunge, their attack is gonna drop, and then they need more Shadow Claws to farm me down, which means they'll have more energy coming out of this matchup. So I threw my Lunge as late as possible, just to make sure they couldn't get too much energy. They have an obstacle in the back, and this game is just over. I'm starting to feel a little bad, to be honest. Because, well, my opponent clearly did not prepare for Tapu Fini. Ooh, a fellow cheater. We see a Tapu Fini in the lead, and this is quite fine for Crobat, I would assume, since I'm outpacing to these moves. And Poison Fang will do a solid chunk, as well as drop their defense. Yeah, brings them into the yellow, that's quite fine. In comes a Kanto Muk, though, and this is a huge problem for my team. I'm gonna go for the Poison Fang first, really hoping they shield this. But they call it. Great call by my opponent there. Gotta shield this. I really want to save my Crobat. My Buzzwole seems kind of useless though, since Tapu Fini walls it. So after this Poison Fang, I'm actually gonna bring in my Buzzwole to farm down this Muk. Since charge moves aren't really... Oh, actually, never mind. I don't do that. That's a different game, I think. I actually just take out the Muk with my Crobat. Okay, that works. That works. In comes a Gliscor. I maybe should not have thrown the Poison Fang. Maybe should have gone for the Shadow Ball to threaten a shield. But it's fine. We're doing so much damage to the air slashes, and they're not throwing moves. Which means I get to another Poison Fang, which they actually shoot up. Really nice. I bring in my Buzzwole here, because my Buzzwole is absolutely useless against the Tapu Fini. And even though wing attacks are double super effective here, the Earthquake and Night Slash won't do that much, as you can see right there. And I get to the Super Power here, which should knock out the Gliscor. They probably think I'm quite weak to Gliscor though, so they shield it up, but I have the Tapu Fini to farm down now, so this is all good. I'm gonna shield this up, because Earthquake will definitely do more than a Moonblast, I think. I'm actually not sure, but I was quite sure it was gonna be an Earthquake, so I shielded. Moonblast won't knock me out, so we're looking pretty good at this point. Yeah, just gonna go for the Moonblast, knock out this Fini, and that should be a good game. Well, it is a good game, because we're gonna be able to farm down the Gliscor now as well. GG's. Lapras lead is quite bad for my Crobat, so I'm gonna switch into my Tapu Fini. This is more of a neutral matchup. Really gonna depend on baits. If they hit a Skull Bash or I shield a Surf, that's really not great. I don't expect them to shield my move though, so go straight for the Moonblast. It really doesn't do that much, but it does drop the attack. So even if it is a Skull Bash now, I'm so fine with it. I'm gonna let it go. The Skull Bash, they actually dip out into Ampharos. They had a hard counter to Tapu Fini this whole time, and they just didn't bring it in instantly. They probably just didn't know what to do against Tapu Fini, since you don't prepare for it. I wasn't prepared for Ampharos either though, so this is not too good for me. I'm gonna bring in Buzzwole at this point though. It will take a ton of damage from these moves, but it's better than Crobat. It's better than Crobat at this point. I just hope I can get to the Lunge here before their next move, and I do reach the Lunge, so that's quite nice. We're gonna take out this Ampharos, and they have Trevenant in the back. They fully hard counter my team, like completely hard counter my team. Bring in the Lapras now. I'm just gonna go straight for the Shadow Ball, expecting them to no shield, thinking it's a Poison Fang, and they do no shield. We take out the Lapras. In comes Trevenant. They go for a move right here. This could be a Shadow Ball, but I'm shielding it, but it's just a Seed Bomb bait. And oh man, I really thought I went for an extra Air Slash there before going for the Poison Fang, but no, I end up going for the Poison Fang immediately. Awful timing. They get a free Shadow Claw through. They get to the move here. Now it's all about farming this down with Buzzwole, or maybe even getting to the Lunge. Do I get there? I go for the Super Power, but they get to the move before me. Is this another Shadow Ball? Sadly it is, so we get taken out. I definitely shouldn't have even gotten close to winning that game though, as they had Lapras for my Crobat. Trevenant for my Buzzwole, and Ampharos for my Tapu Fini. So this was just wasn't a winnable game. But we got close. We got very close. I'll take that. And that was all because of the surprise factor of Tapu Fini. So GG's. That was the final battle of today. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.